Hello, this is Wmpyr. Today's topic is cardio, essentially endurance, increasing your stamina, and we could also call it conditioning, right? Carl Gotch, famous catch wrestling master, he said something along the lines of in the military, where they fight with guns, grenades, weapons, and tanks, ships, jets, and stuff like that, the first thing they make you do is conditioning. And yeah, that is I think that's a wonderful quote. Another quote that he said about that, about cardio and endurance, is I believe he said something along the lines of endurance is my number one hold. That is fantastic. Yeah, I was not super into cardio, especially when I first started martial arts, just because a I couldn't physically do it. I was born with severe asthma, so it was, out of all the things we do in martial arts, it was the worst thing for me. I was the most horrible at cardio. If I had to rank everything, strength I was not good at, obviously. Um, Not very agile or athletic, so I wasn't good at that either. But strength even worse, and I definitely have to say, um, cardio was even worse because of the asthma. And on top of that, and I guess I was just trying to make the best of my own world, and I convinced myself that the most important thing in martial arts was like technique and strategy. So it's the mental stuff. And that's really all I could do anyway, because I wasn't amazing at the other stuff. And yeah, I inclined more towards techniques and the technical stuff. And when I look back, 3 decades worth of training that I did. I started in junior high, and that was in the 90s, and I never stopped since. Just fell in love with martial arts, and been doing it my whole life since. And when I look back on it, my teachers have, not all, but some of them have said to me that my best trait, martial arts wise, was my technical mind. Is what they said. They said that's your best thing, and I have to agree. Not because I'm that awesome technically, but because I couldn't really do anything else. I wasn't athletic, like I said, so I'm not going to have agility or flexibility or any of those other things more than the average person is, maybe below average in some of those things. But yeah, um, definitely didn't have explosiveness or anything like that. Now, I don't know if you guys believe much like in horoscopes, but and I'm not even sure that I do, but in some cases, some of the things that they say about me, I'm a Cancer sign, so when I look at it, it's some of the stuff is spot on. which is really cool. But one of the things they were saying is that like the ability to like regenerate yourself, that a crab could, like, if you cut off a limb, it could grow back, something like one of those legs could grow back. And they were saying that for a person, a Cancer sign person, kind of has the ability to learn a new skill or just completely change themselves in a way, reinvent themselves. And that has kind of been the case for me. It's rare, it doesn't happen often, but when it does, I could just all of a sudden, just out of the blue, like I used to be completely scared of driving. Like I did not like to drive, and then all of a sudden I was able to do it. Um, Another thing was like computers. I was just completely afraid of computers. Computers was not my thing. Just stay away from it. And then all of a sudden I got into it, and then I was working at a computer lab. Just 180-degree turn. It just, something clicks in the mind, and just boom, I'm there, kind of thing. Martial arts was kind of that way too. At first I was like, no martial arts for me. I almost completely gave up on it. In Japan, I took judo Had to, because it was part of PE class, and it almost completely made me give up all hope for martial arts. But then all of a sudden, come here to the US and boom, it just clicked. And then been doing martial arts ever since. So in that case, so like those cases, cardio work all of a sudden for me just came out of nowhere, and I got into it. Of course, throughout 3 decades of training, you have to do cardio work, you have to do strength training, you have to do all that stuff, the stuff that I wasn't good at. Of course, I had to do it. It just wasn't my favorite stuff to do. But cardio work was something I did. Just horrible at it. And then the Boss Rutan O2 trainer completely changed my life. And I couldn't really do a lot of cardio work because I would, if I did some of that, I get an asthma attack, and then for the rest of the night I'm up to like 3-4 o'clock in the morning like that, and that was normal for me. I just got used to it, and it's like, why don't you use the spray? The spray has a lot of bad side effects, just like a lot of other medicine, you know, as really bad for you. So I would just take it. I would just take the asthma attack, and I was like, man, this is like, if I worked out 5 days a week, then 5 days a week I'm getting asthma. It was just there all the time, and this is not including like when the weather all of a sudden got cold or something, I would start to get an asthma attack. Not including any of that. This is just from working out. I really, really just got used to it. I accepted it as part of my life. But once I started using the O2 trainer, then boom, it like pretty much, went away to the point where it's like less than 1% in my life. Now, when things get really stressful, or I do like really push myself or something physically, then I start to feel uncomfortable breathing. But it's not like what it used to be at all. It's just amazing. So, and real quick, I don't want to make this about the Boss Rutan O2 trainer because I have made videos on it, but that stuff, it's not altitude training. It's like weight training for your lungs. It makes your lungs stronger. Now, I've told other people that have asthma and stuff about this, and I go, man, I had the worst asthma all my life, gave up on ever being, normal. And all of a sudden I start using this thing, and boom, it was incredible. I tell people, trying to be, I'm trying to share this gift, because to me it's a gift. Boss Rutan to me is, the guy is like, I don't know what I could say. He's like Santa Claus. He's like, he's like my savior, And anyway, I tell this to other people that have asthma, and they kind of like almost look at me in a hateful way, like, no, you can't fix asthma. Like you can't all of a sudden be good. Like it's not like they're happy for me. I would be happy for someone if they had a chronic illness and all of a sudden they found a cure, or they got good. I'd be happy for them. But no, these people, it's almost like they have the reverse effect where they're like, no, and they get all like defensive, and I'm like, you should do it. You should totally try it. And even if you don't exercise like I do, just, work on the breathing part. But anyway, it's just weird how some people are so negative like that. But all right. So cardio work has been huge for me. And the last several years, I've been really focusing on it as my number one thing. And in a street situation, look, if just looking at it from a combat perspective, if I ever get into a street fight, and I don't mean I sucker punch the guy and knock him out, I mean a street fight where we're trading shots, and I do that and I'm not breathing hard afterwards, okay, I'm not out of breath afterwards, then I can quit cardio for combat purposes. I'll never quit cardio because of asthma, but for combat purposes, then I can understand. You don't need cardio if that happens, which I completely doubt that would ever happen. Okay, you need cardio, period. It's not just for sport. So that's a big, big thing. And not only is it not just for sport, it is like one of the most important things. And we breathe. We're human beings. That's what we do. So think about that. That's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.